This is going to be a fun one. Today we're going to be taking a look together at a watch that I wore recently in a video over on the Shmee 150 channel, but a perfect example of a car brand and a watch brand working together. Now, I was wearing it on the day that I hosted here at the Shmuseum my friend Passin, who visited with his quite frankly extraordinary Koenigsegg Agera RS, one of only 25, one of very few right-hand drive cars, a car with over 1,000 horsepower. But this particular watch is the REC Watches 901 GW Exoskeleton. We're going to be unboxing it in just a moment to go through that experience before taking a look in depth up close at the watch itself. But it's a collaboration between REC Watches and Gunther Werks. It wasn't all that long ago that I was hosting here at the barn my friend's Gunther Werks for a couple of months. Very much enjoyed driving it, the remastered 911 based on the 993 generation. Now, what's particularly interesting about this though is both the collaboration between a watch brand and a car brand, but in particular REC Watches' motto, which is to recover, recycle and reclaim, to quite literally create the timepiece using available material that is left over at the end of the manufacturing process. So this watch is limited to only 188 pieces, which is a strict limit because that's all the material that they have from the production of the first customer commissioned Gunther Werks 911, a car that also belongs to a friend out in California. So we're going to be opening up the box together in a moment and taking a look at that. Very quickly here, I also have some sketches, watch and car, plus some stickers as well that go along with it. There are two different derivatives of the 901 GW, as well as other watches, of course, from REC Watches themselves. But let's get this opened up to take a look at it together, to open up the top part of the box, to release the very nicely presented box just inside. It's a bit of pass the parcel with this. I quite enjoy the unboxing process of some of these things because you never know how many layers it's going to be before you're inside. We've got the clasp at the front. We'll pop that open. Reveals inside a few further items which you can check out in just a moment. This is the leather pouch containing the watch itself, and we also have a little bit of information on this about a thank you from the founders of the company themselves. We have a little cloth just inside there, I suppose that foam piece which sits over the top, and then everything just really nicely made because hey, that's, as I said, half of what this is all about. So let's get straight to the point. This nice travel pouch for the watch itself, pop it open. Inside, we are greeted by this lovely thing. Now let me just open this. It pops open sideways so I can take it off and have a slightly closer look at exactly what we have here. But the reason for the color scheme is to link to that particular car, finished in full exposed carbon fiber with blue accents and also some orange detailing. But there are plenty of elements of this which match what you find on the car itself. For example, the cross brace design that you have through the dial and also on the back of the clasp actually perfectly match that which you find on the engine cover of the remastered 911 across the back, that window through towards the engine. You also have the bezel on here with the style, again akin to various elements on the car itself. For example, the headlight surrounds, the ignition surround, the dials on the instrument cluster of the car as well. So some really, really lovely elements to it. On the back of the watch, it's actually numbered out of the 188. You can see 148 for this specific one, limited to 188, along with that detailing and elements that you can see. On the crown, you have the blue accent as well around the outside. You've got the two buttons for the tachymeter and the chronograph that you have within this. And then on the dial, there's a fantastic level of detail to this, the depth to it, the different layers that you can see, the very small numbering for the tachymeter around the outside, the Gunther Werks logo up towards the top, presented just above the REC logo as well. Obviously REC very simply standing for the first three letters of the three words, recycle, or rather recover, recycle and reclaim. You have different colours for the dials. Over to the left, the blue, and then the grey for the other two, with the black inner, and different colours as well for the hands that you can see. Obviously, we've got the glow-in-the-dark hour and minute, we've got the bright orange second-hand time, and even over to the side of the watch, we have the Gunther Werks logo on the side. The strap is obviously the leather here. You've got the brown leather for the inside of it. On the exterior, you've got the blue with the effect, or sorry, the blue stitching against the black with the effect. If I just actually open this up for a second, we'll pop it open. I'm personally normally a fan of steel or metal straps. Let me just take off my moon swatch for the time being, pop that over to the side. I'm going to pop this on so I can get a feel for what it's like on the wrist. You feel quite a weight to it. It is a fairly hefty watch, certainly something that feels like it brings quality and a premium feel to it, which is, I think, always quite important with these things. I worry that the strap would be delicate and eventually wear, and you feel the movement from inside, obviously, as you move it around. It's certainly a smart timepiece, and I think it's really fun the way they incorporate those elements from the car into the watch. Obviously, there's a lot more to it under the skin, but to work on this collaboration with REC Watches and Gunther Werks to produce something like this is just a very notable detail, especially when you consider the limited run number and how fun that is to have been able to do it and to use those different materials and to be, I suppose, thinking about the impact of the production, even though you have, I guess, a lot of packaging that goes along with it. Now, in terms of the other things that we have here, just to take a look at, we've got a second cloth piece just there. We've got the details, design references. In fact, that's quite fun just to have a look at. The middle case made mixing new forged carbon and recycled from the carbon roof of Gunther Werks Exoskeleton. Enforced engine X-brace on dial, bezel and sub-dial layout inspired by casing for headlights and dashboard instruments, exactly as I said earlier. If we keep looking through, the mechanical movement is described, indicators, plenty more in terms of the bits of information, the story of your watch as well. A QR code to take a look at the specific watch. That's quite fun also to be able to offer that, and the serial number and other info pieces all stored away on this recycled card inside that little pouch. In here, I believe we have an extra strap with some blue accents down it. So slightly different to the main strap on the watch that I'm wearing right now, but with the blue stripe that matches with the exact stripe details you find on the very car, all presented in a really quite nice little pouch, to be honest, a lovely extra piece that comes with it. So I think it's safe to say, that this is a very detailed watch. We also have an offer, or rather I should say REC Watches have an offer on right now with SHME20, the code, if you'd like to check that out if you're interested in purchasing one of these. But I think it's, a suitable timepiece for the car. The 911 is, or rather the 993 generations of 911s are of course iconic cars with their design, with their driving experience, with what they represent. And this is obviously quite a distinct timepiece to go with that as well. So there we have it. We've unboxed the REC Watches 901 GW Exoskeleton and taken a look at it up close. Hopefully before too long, I can get back behind the wheel of another Gunther Werks.